Hello students, I am Utkarsh Suryavanshi, Assistant Professor at AISS MS College of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pune. Welcome to the third session of Geography. In this session, we are going to learn about impact on ecosystem, biodiversity and human well-being. So let us go through the objectives of the session. First one, introduction to ecosystem and biodiversity. Second, impact on ecosystem. Third, effect on biodiversity. Fourth, impact on human well-being. And at last, we are going to summarize the topic. So let us understand about the term ecosystem. We can define ecosystem as a community of living organisms interacting with each other and their physical environment. Ecosystem encompasses of various habitat like forest, ocean, grassland and desert. They involve complex interaction among organism and environment. Ecosystem provide essential services such as nutrient cycling, water purification and climate regulation. Human activities have a significant impact on ecosystem, altering their structure and function. Understanding this impact is crucial for conservation and sustainable management. Biodiversity. It is a short form for biological diversity. It refers to the variety and variability of life forms on Earth, which include genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Biodiversity is a fundamental aspect of life, shaping ecosystem, providing ecosystem services, and sustaining human well-being. It supports essential ecological processes such as nutrient cycling, pollination, and pest control, which are very vital for ecosystem function and productivity. Biodiversity also has intrinsic value, providing cultural, aesthetic, and recreational benefits to the society. Understanding and conserving biodiversity is critical for maintaining ecosystem health, resilience, and long-term sustainability on Earth. Let us understand the impact on ecosystem. These are following are the causes for ecosystem degradation. First, habitat destruction, climate change, invasive species, and the domino effect. Let us understand each point in much detail. Habitat destruction. Habitat destruction involves the process by which natural habitats are damaged or destroyed, leading to the loss of biodiversity. For example, clearing forest for agriculture, urbanization, or logging is a major cause of habitat destruction. Destruction of habitat threatens numerous species, leading to population decline and even extinction. Fragmentation of habitat isolates population, reducing genetic diversity and increasing vulnerability to environmental changes. Restoration efforts can mitigate habitat destruction, but they often require substantial time and resources. Second, climate change. Climate change refers to long-term alteration in temperature, precipitation patterns, and other climatic factors, primarily due to the human activities. Climate change affect ecosystem by altering habitat conditions and species distribution. Rising temperature can disrupt ecological processes like reproduction and migration. Changes in precipitation pattern can lead to drought, floods, and shift in vegetation types. Ocean acidification caused by increased carbon dioxide level threatens marine ecosystem, particularly coral reefs and shell forming organisms. Third, invasive species. Let us understand the meaning of that. Invasive species are non-native organisms that outcompete native species, resulting in disruption of ecosystem and can cause harm to the environment, economy, or human health. Invasive species often lack natural predators or controls, allowing them to rapidly spread and dominate ecosystem. They can alter food webs, reduce biodiversity, and degrade habitat quality. Control measures for invasive species would include biological control, habitat restoration, and public education. Prevention through early detection and regulation of trade is crucial to manage invasive species. Last one, the domino effect. Every aspect of our ecosystem is important because when one goes, the rest will follow. Now let us imagine this scenario. When the global temperature continues to rise, the glaciers will melt. Of course, the sea level will rise and coastal cities will be inundated, killing millions of people. Economies will stop and it will severely burden in trying to sustain everyone. Farms will be flooded and there will be no food. This may sound like an exaggeration, but we are well on our way to our own destruction slowly and surely. Now let us understand the second part of this session, which is effect on biodiversity. Impact on ecosystem, reduction in ecosystem stability, resilience and productivity. Consequences for humans are threat to food security, increased vulnerability to natural disasters, and loss of economic opportunities. For example, decline in pollinators leading to reduced crop yield and biodiversity loss. Let us understand the various causes of biodiversity loss. First one, habitat destruction. For example, deforestation, urbanization, agriculture, and infrastructural development. Second cause will be pollution through air, water, and soil from various industrial activities, waste disposal, and agriculture. The third and most important is climate change. Altered temperature and precipitation patterns affecting habitat and species distribution. Next will be fragmentation. Fragmentation of habitat due to road, urbanization, agriculture, and infrastructural development. Second, isolation of population. It reduces gene flow, increases vulnerability to environmental changes, and limits dispersal. The consequences would be loss of genetic diversity, decline in species richness, and disruption of ecological process. Let us understand the various conservation processes of biodiversity. Preserving biodiversity is essential for ecosystem functioning, human well-being, and future generations. Engaging governments, communities, NGOs, and individuals in biodiversity conservation efforts. Let us understand the strategies behind it. First one, establishing protected areas. Second, sustainable resource management. Third, habitat restoration. And fourth, public education. Let us understand these strategies in detail. First one, protected areas. The role of protected areas will be first, safeguarding habitat. Second, preserving the various species which are there in the areas. And third, maintaining ecosystem services. Let us understand the various types of protected areas in the world. First, national parks, wildlife reserves, marine protected areas, and biosphere reserves. The challenges are also there for these protected areas, such as encroachment, poaching, and insufficient funding from management. Let's come to the final part of today's session, which is impact on human well-being. The environmental degradation had a very severe impact on day-to-day life of a human being. It has been observed several negative health outcomes has emerged over the last decade. The impact on public health causing increased morbidity and mortality. Particulate matter like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide are the major air pollutants. They cause respiratory problems such as asthma, bronchitis, and lung cancer. Let us understand the causes of human health deterioration. First one, air pollution. Second, water contamination. Third, chemical exposure. And fourth, radiation exposure. There are many causes for deterioration, but these four has played a very important role for that. Let us understand each cause in detail. First one, air pollution. Air pollution has caused various respiratory diseases such as asthma, chronic bronchitis, and lung cancer. Second, cardiovascular diseases, increased rate of heart attacks and strokes. Neurological disorders like cognitive impairment and developmental delays. There are various kind of allergies which has also prevailed in this time due to the excavation of pollutants. And last, premature mortality. The shortened lifespan due to long-term exposure to pollutant. Second cause will be water contamination. It has led to various waterborne diseases such as cholera, typhoid fever, and dysentery. It has had gastrointestinal illness as well, like diarrhea, vomiting, and stomach cramps. Heavy metal toxicity such as lead poisoning, mercury poisoning, and arsenic poisoning. The chemical exposure of pesticide, industrial chemicals, and pharmaceutical in water sources. It has led to the development issues such as birth defects, impaired growth of individuals, and neurological damage in children. Third, chemical exposure. It has various occupational hazards. Exposure to this toxic chemical in workplaces has led to occupational diseases. For example, there is a technical term called carcinogenicity. It can be defined as increased risk of cancer due to exposure to carcinogens in the environment. Second, endocrine disruption such as hormonal imbalances, reproductive issues, and developmental abnormalities. Neurological effects such as cognitive impairment, memory loss, and neurodevelopment disorders. Skin disorders such as irritation, allergies, and dermatitis from contact with chemical pollutants. Last will be radiation exposure. It has led to cancer due to the ionizing radiation exposure, genetic mutation such as hereditary mutation passed down through generations, reproductive health like fertility issues, birth defect, and miscarriages, skin damages such as sunburn, premature aging, and skin cancer from UV radiation. Immune suppression such as weakened immune system leading to increased susceptibility to infection. Now let us summarize the topic. Human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change have profound impact on ecosystem, disrupting their functioning and reducing their resilience to environmental changes. It directly affects human well-being through various pathways, including air and water pollution causing health problems. There is a complex interplay between ecosystem, biodiversity, and human well-being, with each component influencing and being influenced by the others as well. As a human population continues to grow, global environmental pressure intensify. It is very essential to prioritize proactive measures to mitigate the adverse effect of environmental degradation. Thank you.